Hey everybody, if you are looking for another option in the clipless pedal game, today we're going to be checking out the HT T2 pedals, talking to you about some of the pros and cons and ride feel out on the trail. So stay tuned and we'll get into these pedals. All right, everybody, so today we're gonna be reviewing these HT pedals. This particular model here is the T2 in their oil slick combo. They have a lot of different colors available. What's really cool is that along with having a really cool color options, they're actually relatively affordable and lighter than some other premium options. We weighed these up against Shimano XT Trail and Shimano XTR pedals, which have been almost exclusively what I've been running, and it's lighter than XTR and quite a bit more affordable, also lighter than the XT by quite a bit. This set of pedals weighed in at 386 grams and pretty competitively priced, and if not more affordable depending on color and material options that you select. All right, so before we get into the ride impressions, let's talk details on these real quick. These are the T2 pedals, so it's kind of a trail to enduro sized platform. It features a 56 millimeter Q factor. It is an aluminum extruded and CNC machined body material. The platform size is 68 by 84 by 17 millimeters. It has a CNC machined chromoly spindle and sealed IGUS bearings. There are also 4 traction pins on each side of the pedal, and they can be run with X1, X1F, or X1E cleats, which we will talk about in detail very soon. So when consumers buy these pedals, they get 2 sets of cleats, the X1F and the X1. And essentially the F has 8 degrees of float, and the standard X1 cleat has 4 degrees of float. I installed the X1Fs just to try those out. Maybe I didn't see the other cleats in there since I got these pedals from HT at Sea Otter and they were kind of like an open box deal. Needless to say, I had some issues. I couldn't really find myself clipping out in high stress situations, like if I was trying really technical climbs, and I just couldn't get out. And I reached out to the guys at HT because I really liked the pedals everywhere else. I loved stepping into the pedals. I loved the smooth, buttery feel when I was inside. It didn't feel quite so mechanical and notchy. When I was jumping the bike and moving around on the bike in corners, I just really liked how smooth and buttery they felt. But obviously not being able to get unclipped and falling over was not something I was willing to compromise on. And they actually sent me out the X1E cleats, which is a new letter, and that is basically the X1E is a different material than the standard X1 cleat, but still features 4 degrees of float, and it just makes it a little bit easier to get out. So the X1 and the X1E are the same shape and function, just the E is designed to be a little harder, a little longer lasting. So if you're regularly riding in mud or highly abrasive types of soil, or rock, decomposed sandstone, granite, and that sort of thing, the X1E will last you a little bit longer, but functionality, they are the same. What I found was that that 4 degree float was much better for me, and I was able to get unclipped a bit faster than I was on the 4 degree. Now it still wasn't as instant as the Shimano pedals, which have again been almost exclusively what I've been running, aside from some Crank Brothers ventures here and there. But there are pros and cons that I have found to Shimano as well as on these HT pedals. So we'll kind of get into those right now. Stepping into the pedals is really easy. I really liked it. Again, the highlight for me is how smooth and free my feet felt inside these. A lot of times the Shimanos they'll get kind of ratchety and clunky, and it'll just feel like the Tin Man before he got oiled up, right, in The Wizard of Oz. And this just felt like smooth butter. And I really, really liked that, especially when it was jumping or cornering and that sort of thing. Where the pedals kind of traded, right? And I loved being in the HTs more than the Shimanos was when it came time to unclip. With the Shimanos, you go to unclip and you hit this wall of tension and it's just boom, snap, and you're out. With the HTs, you slowly hit tension and push more tension, more tension, more tension, then it releases. And that didn't really have a lot to do with, I mean, obviously it's got adjustable spring tension like the Shimano pedals, so you can increase or decrease. And I definitely found, like on Shimanos, I run the tension almost maxed out, like pretty close. And on the HTs, I'm about halfway down. So it's definitely a stiffer spring and allows you to get a lot more retention if needed. But even if I went way up or way down on spring tension, the feeling was the same still. It was like, it was just kind of a softer disengagement no matter how stiff my spring tension was. And that was something that was kind of like the one negative or the low point I had with these pedals, just that little bit of a dragging feel to get out. Whether that's an issue for you in your trail riding, and I don't know for sure if it's gonna be an issue for me, it was definitely something I noticed. And I think depending on where you ride and how often you're clipping in and out and what those instances are, that could be something to consider, right? Like if you're riding in a high consequence area, you know, if you're regularly trying to do gnarly technical climbs in Moab on the side of a cliff, or, you know, you're in the East Coast doing really techie rock climbs or tight switchbacks where you're gonna have to instantly dab and get a foot out, that could be something to consider. You know, if you're just riding and having fun and you pretty much gotta come out only an occasional two-wheel drift in a corner, or when you're coming to a stop on the trail, then like, not a problem. I would for sure pick these. I really like them. I'm gonna be spending some more time on them, and I'm just gonna have to kind of just keep riding them and see if I can push past that wall in my head and in the pedal to feel confident in that area. But after, you know, 8 months of riding, I'm still kind of there. So I guess long story short, I love these pedals when I'm in them, when I'm riding them. Don't really love them when I'm trying to clip out. But again, how often are you clipping out versus how much time you spend clipped in? That's kind of up to you, and I think will be something that I keep, you know, a separate set of shoes with a set of cleats. So if I'm going out for a long day of riding and pedaling, and I want comfort, I don't, you know, want to worry about my knees kind of aching, this is definitely going to be my go-to option with the X1E cleats. So hopefully that answered a couple of questions. If not, gave you guys more questions and doubt when you were considering these pedals. But overall, I've been impressed. IGUS bearings, CNC machined, durable. They've got 4 grip pins. In terms of, you know, platform size, etc., let me just kind of pull out these XTRs for reference, XTR trails and the HT-T2s. The Shimano XTR is a little bit bigger, a little bit longer as well, front to back, but overall a pretty decent size. HT does have both larger and smaller pedals, depending if you're XC or DH minded. So, you know, you can pick models that are different than the T2, but this is kind of a good trail platform in my opinion. Gives you enough to push off of, but isn't too small and also isn't too big to where it's regularly catching on stuff, right? If you look at the side of these pedals versus the side of, you know, both my XTs and my XTRs, that's a lot of strikes and potential for going down. So having that little bit of extra clearance isn't always a bad thing. So there you have it, folks. The HT-T2 pedal. Overall, a pretty solid offering. Little bit of a learning curve, but a pedal that I really like being clipped into and riding with. Hopefully, again, you guys found some good info in that. Please reach out with any questions you have or some other pedals that you think we should check out in review. Thanks very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in future videos.